What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Experience More podcast. Pumped and excited to have each and every one of you guys joining me on this week's episode. Welcome to the show that's all about experiencing more of the great outdoors with those you love to experience it with. And we sprinkle in aspects of life in there as well. Everything from overall entrepreneurship, personal development, the outdoors, physical, mental, all facets of it, right? There's so many different things that ultimately the outdoors, whether it is hunting, whether it's fishing, that has taught me about life. And then coming from the world of physical fitness and owning a gym to working with First Form over the last almost 10 years and being able to surround myself by some of the most successful individuals within the country, and especially in the fitness space, and leadership, entrepreneurship. I mean, you just don't know who's going to walk through those doors. Been fortunate enough to surround myself by some very, very influential individuals throughout my life, and very fortunate for the lifestyle that I've been able to essentially live in the day and age that I am living it. If you are new here, welcome to the show. I'm pumped and excited to have you. Definitely, if someone went through and recommended the show to you, you should probably just punch them in the side of the head and give them a big hug and say thank you for the show. But sorry if I blew anyone's eardrums out of there. I do want to say thank you to those of you who have gone through and recommended the show or shared it via social media, left a review, all those different things. At the end of the day, that is how we go and grow, is organic. Everything around the base here, there's not ads or anything of that nature ultimately pumped out there. So with that being said, we're just going to get into this week's episode. And I really, this one, last week we talked tactical games, kind of all facets to it. We've gone back and forth in multitude of things. Hopefully in the next week here, going to have Zach Plale. We'll be talking some turkey hunt and everything with that. I was going to do that today, and I'm like, you know what? No, I really just want to hit on the aspect of gratitude. And, I'm not perfect by any means, but I definitely have to remind myself to take a great deal of appreciation of where I'm at and really just kind of step back and look at it and reflect on it. Because I'm very, very type A in the sense of like, I'm go, go, go. I want it to happen now. I have different goals and visions for my life, my family's life. And, sometimes those things don't ultimately come to fruition right when we want them to happen, but having that forward mindset and just that drive, that aggressive patience to continue working towards the ultimate vision you have for the life that you live is very, very important. And honestly, some of the times when I'm going through and having this episode, like I'm talking to myself, guys, and really reflecting on my life. That's why, this podcast is not your generic, we're going to just hit home and talk about buck stories and things of that nature. I want individuals to be able to take nuggets and apply it to their life. And this is a big one. I want you to think about where you are at right now and understand that there is probably a point in your life where you wished for what you have right now. You wish to be doing the things that you are doing to some extent. You are making the amount of money that you probably once went through and hoped you would go through and make. You're probably living in a home or a house. You probably have a garage. You have things, right? There are things that you've gone through and asked the world, the universe, God for, and you've dreamed about those, visualized those, and ultimately have them. To some extent, I would put money in the fact that you are where you once dreamed about being. Because I know for me, for a fact, that is a true fact. But it's no different. Like success in retrospect, and like you have to reflect on that. Like, what is success to you? What does that vision look like for you? What does the life look like for you? Because honestly, success is very, very much like running 5K, 10K, half marathon. In the beginning, it's hard. Visually, you can't even go through and ultimately comprehend getting to that point, making that certain amount of money, having that certain house, doing those certain things with those certain people, and achieving that kind of level. But just like a 5K, you show up, you're nervous. right? You're about to charter into the unknown and you're going to run for 3 whole miles unbroken. And then when you get done with that 5K. Yes, it hurt. It was sore. You were beat up. But then you get to the finish line and you kind of reflect on it. And I would put money on the fact again as well that you're probably thinking, I could have done a half. I could have done more. I could have done double that. What's a 10K? What's a half marathon? Okay. Well, yeah, it hurt, but man, it really is not that bad, right? And I think that is the such a great analogy for life. Such a great analogy for life. You think about that and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna sign up for a half marathon because I know I can do that. I mean, I don't know that I can do that. That's kind of nerve wracking to me, or maybe it's a 10K, but I'm gonna do that. Start with a 5K, then maybe a 10K. Then you get done with a half marathon, and you're like, man, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Right? You get done with a half marathon, you're like, yeah, it really sucked. It was hard. Feet hurt, knees hurt, back hurt. You're like, man, okay, I trained a little bit for that. I did this. I made these things happen. You get done with that race, and I would, again, if I was a betting man, I would bet you get done with that because I've been directly there, and you're like, I could have done a full. I could have done that twice. Yeah, it would have hurt, but it's just enduring that suck and that pain for a little bit longer and just get there. And then you go through and you do the wild card of, you get on a full marathon, or you go through and you sign up for an ultra, or you do some sort of crazy race like a Spartan ultra beast trifecta, right? Or you do an untapped, last man standing, or you sign up for a competition, whatever it is. It is so wild to me as I have gone through life. You look at those different hard things, and by the time you get to the end of it, it's like, I could have done that. I could have done that. And where I feel like some people struggle, and because I've had to catch myself in this, is you get done with that race and you don't sign up for the next hard thing soon enough. Then complacency sets in. You start making excuses again. And ultimately it's keeping the momentum rolling forward. All too often we have things that hit us as we're moving towards the stuff we want to achieve, right? And then something out of left field hits us, whether that's maybe a kid, whether it's a bill or a health issue, an injury, and we ultimately become complacent. We sit back on the back burner, and then we start to doubt, like, it's been so long, can I still do that? Can I do those things? And truth is, yes, you can. Mentally, physically, you could still go through and do it. Yes, it is going to hurt, but because you've already gone through and achieved those things, you too can get right back to where you ultimately were. Might take a little bit, right? But at least you've been there. It's not untold ground anymore, right? But it's easy, and this is where I look at the gratitude side of things. It's easy to forget what's ultimately gotten you there, right? It's easy to forget that, oh my gosh, I'm doing half marathons, but I have a body that went through and helped me get my first 5K done. This body is ultimately allowing me to do a half marathon. Hey, I have an entire support system at home. I got a wife that supports me. I got an awesome little girl, and I'm looking at my life and reflecting on it. We got a beautiful home over our head. We bought this as a foreclosure, and we ultimately built good equity within it. We have done a lot of things, and yes, there's been trials and tribulations, and I wish every single thing on this house was ultimately done already, but it's what I signed up for, and it's a hell of a home compared to what we ultimately started with back in Wisconsin. I look at this home and what we have now here in Missouri, and from the college rentals that ultimately flipped and slept on the floor in, to the little dollhouse house we had that was about 780 square feet total, and now to where we're living in the place that we have now. Still, we keep it within our means, but very, very thankful for the home that I'm in. Do I want more? Yes. I want to be able to achieve more. I really want to be able to create even a better life for the life that my daughter has. But When I see her run around in the backyard chasing the chickens, I have to stop and remind myself that, yes, I may not be where I want to be yet or have the things that I want to have and ultimately have achieved, right? But it's a pretty cool life that we get to live, right? And I would say that for you, if you're listening to this podcast, if you've gone through and really achieved anything, right? Maybe you haven't. Maybe you're sitting there and you're listening to this. You're like, fuck, this guy, right? Man, if only he knew. Guess what, motherfucker? I know. I've slept on a tile floor in a kitchen in a house that was a hoarder house. And I gutted the whole thing out at 18 years old. That was the first house I ever went through and did. I left my parents' house, got out, I've never asked dad or mom or anything for anything. Yes, my family, I'm very, very thankful for them. And I know they would be there, right, if I needed something. But you can ask my dad, like, there's never been a moment where I've ever gone through and asked him for financial anything, right? But I do that in an aspect of, like, it's a respect factor that he's also taught me a lot throughout life. And there's been people in your life that have taught you too. But also the main things with it is to be resourceful, be thankful, be truthful, and never fucking quit. Anything and everything that you ultimately want to go out there and achieve is within your grasp, as well, as long as you are willing to work for it and make it happen. It's gonna suck. You're gonna have to shovel shit. But at the end of the day, every farmer who creates a legacy shovels the shit. And that's the truth of all of it. If you're going to feed and provide, not just for your family, but for families far beyond your own, you're going to have to shovel shit. And I think of the farmer, I think of the individuals who have fed and built this entire country is really off the back of farmers, cattle farmers, dairy farmers, row crop farmers. Like, you think about it, at the end of the day, yeah, they've built a phenomenal family-based legacy throughout all of it, but it came with a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, and ultimately being able to look out there and be thankful for what they have and what they've been able to provide. But it's only come through the work. And I can tell each and every one of you guys, especially if you're sitting there wondering, poor me, poor little me. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do these things. Guess what? The first thing you can do is go out and take accountability of yourself and go make it happen. And when I say that, like, anyone could go run a 5K. Anyone. I know individuals who are amputees. I know individuals who have no legs. Know individuals who will go out and literally make it happen regardless of the scenarios that are ultimately out there. And I say that because if you never ran a 5K, well, you probably should. I believe everyone should. It's a symbol of, hey, even especially if you don't want to, just go do it. Guess what? It's 3 miles. Most people walk that within a day. Go jog it. Jog it. Walk it. Doesn't matter. Do it, and then go out there and try and run maybe a mile every other day. Jog. When I say run, I just mean go move, right? But make yourself a priority consistently. And one day, you'll be able to thank yourself for going out and making yourself a priority. Majority of individuals, and this is what I look at a lot, and I remind myself a lot, most people after they get out of high school or college, and really I think there's a stat out there and everything, most people stop sprinting, right? They stop running when they get out of school, right? Or when they hit a certain age. I think it's like an age thing of like over 30. Most individuals over 30 go through and stop sprinting. When's the last time you sprinted? Well, I would go out and start sprinting. Go try it. Not like, don't pull a hammy or anything like that. But when's the last time you actually sprinted? Like, went with urgency, took off, right? Maybe you should go jog, telephone to telephone pole, and maybe sprint to one, right? Get after it. Like, why at a certain point in life do most people go through and stop sprinting towards the things that they're wanting? Think about that. high school, middle school ages, college ages, you're working, you're grinding, you're making these things happen. You're trying to push and make it go at whatever it is. It could be anything and everything you ultimately want to go and make it happen. And we get to a certain point where society kicks in. We start having to go with the flow or the norm, or we at least feel those different pressures around us. And then we stop sprinting. We just start to kind of fall in line and work towards where we are ultimately going. So I would encourage you to go sprint, and actually sprinting is a great analogy for that, because yes, it'll get your heart rate up. Yes, it'll make you feel alive. You'll probably have the clearest mind you've had in a long time after doing it. But then I would just start looking at running. And then when you're out there running, think about the life that you have and think about where you are at and be grateful for the life that you have. I know I am. I know that I have to remind myself of that. And it's really why I wanted to go through and talk about it today, because it's very, very easy to get in this tunnel vision and forget. I don't want to say forget, but just put the things that you are grateful for on the back burner and ultimately not give them the credit that they ultimately deserve. Understanding that you are where you are for a purpose and for a reason. And there's probably been individuals that have helped you get to that spot. And I'm not saying look back to go through and dwell on the past, or ultimately to look back and see the things you maybe forgot, but just be grateful of where you are and what you've done, what you've achieved, where you are at, those who are in your life right now. Don't feel sorry about the ones that you had to leave behind, or maybe you're thankful that you did get out of that circle and left those certain individuals behind. We'll use that as a reflection point, because I guarantee it, upon reflection of the things you are grateful for will give you better visualization to the things you are working towards. Promise you. Sometimes we're so distracted with the noise and everything around us, and the mindset of whether it's keeping up with the Joneses and things we want, we forget about what we're really working towards and what we're really grateful for. It's just something to think about. When's the last time you were grateful and really reflected on the things that you're grateful for? When's the last time you sprinted? When's the last time you went for a 5K? When's the last time you ran? When is the last time you went through and signed up for something hard? That's what we all should be working towards. Is being grateful for the hard things. Being grateful for the hard things you signed up for and you went out there and made happen. You got done with that 5K? Good. Did you sign up for the half marathon? Yep, good. You get done with that half marathon? You sign up for that full? Good. Got done with it, kicked your butt. You felt like you could get some more? Okay, what's the next hard thing we're ultimately signing up for? Physically challenging yourself. And this is beyond the business side of things. This goes right into why I went through last year and signed up for the tactical games. It was outside my comfort zone. It was something I've never done before. I had a little bit of interest in it, but I had no clue what I was doing at all. Had a good feeling that I was going to get my ass handed to me. And I did. But I learned something new. I found something cool and a new avenue, a new kind of passion, something that fueled the fire. It helped fan the fire of just like that internal, like competitive piece of my soul. Would have never found that if I didn't just sign up and go. You will never understand what that is like until you look at those things that ultimately make you a little nervous and just sign up for them and put them on the fucking calendar and go. Could be that 5K. Could be a tactical games. Could be going through and buying that hunt of a lifetime. Just going in, getting the points, trying to get a draw. I guarantee there are individuals listening to this podcast right now dreaming about going on an elk hunt and saying, man, that is a dream of mine. It is so far outside my means. Just go in and put in points. Look at whether it is Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, wherever you are wanting to go. Go in and start building points for that, because it'll never happen if you don't start doing that. And who knows? You put in points in, like, say, Colorado, You can still do over the counter rifle out there for second season. But if you put in points for it, you want to go out archery, you draw a tag. Good. Go. Go do it. Go make it happen. Like you don't need all the knowledge and experience in the world. Look to that one friend or that individual that you might have. But how long are you going to say, man, that's a goal of mine. Man, that's a dream of mine. Man, I really hope to be able to do that one day. Well, the door is there. You just have to open it. It truly is right there. And it's one of those things that it has always baffled me for the entirety of my life. Growing up on an elk farm, like we had elk all around us. We had the crops, we had the beef, we sold the beef to get the elk, and then all of a sudden we had that, and everyone's like, man, I was very fortunate to go out elk hunting with my dad ever since I was 8 years old. Very, very fortunate, right? And I'm blessed, fortunate to have lived and grown up in the life that I ultimately grew up in. But I would always hear people say, man, that's one of my goals, my dream, to go on that elk hunt. And it's like, okay, we just go do it. 1 year passes, 5 years pass, 15 years pass. Guess what? Like, what have you been waiting for? I mean, if you really buckled it down, I mean, right now, if you went through and started putting money off to the side, like, and you have, let's say you have all the gear, it costs you $860-ish some dollars for a tag. Let's just say $1,000 for your tag, hunting license, everything that you need right there. Okay, cool. Well, now you just go pick a chunk of land and go for a walkabout just like you would any other hunting scenario, right? Guess what? You are going to mess up. You can e-scout and do all the things you want, but until you go through and put boots on the ground and just go do it, I can think of 100 different things that are worse investment for $1,000 in a year than going out and hunting out in the backcountry, buying an elk ticket and literally eating tag soup. Even if you eat tag soup, you went out and did something freaking awesome. And you learn things about yourself. You learn things about the individuals you go with. You learn more things about this country and the great outdoors that you ever knew before. Every single year I go out, it is, even if I don't get something, yes, that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, I want to punch a tag. Yeah, I want to fill the freezer, and I will do every single thing in my power to make that happen. But there are people that waste $1,000 in a few months. I'm okay with going through and taking a few days out of the week and burning a tag to go out and really truly immerse myself in God's country. If I go through and get an elk, it's a freaking icing on the cake of all of it. Yeah, it's the ultimate goal. But at the end of the day, that's not the only reason I go through and burn those days, because those days are very, very well invested. So sorry, got a little heat in that one. And don't waste your life. Be thankful for where you're at. Understand where you're at. Appreciate where you're at. Reflect on the things that you've been putting on the back burner and just fucking do it, man. Just fucking do it. Life's too short, way too short. So that's all I got for you guys this week. Like I said, hopefully this next week we got Zach Playo coming on. We're going to talk some turkey camp, I think, this coming week. So we got to reflect on that piece. I was going to try and get out here this weekend, but was not able to go through and make that happen. So we had a bunch of other things, though, done around the house. Got a bunch of stuff set up, and that's a lot of cool things ultimately to come. And like I said, hopefully next week we talk some turkey camp with Zach. And I've got a couple other special guests lining up as well. So looking forward to those, and just appreciate each and every one of you guys who follow along, who have shared the show and allowed me to be a part of your journey. Thank you for sharing the wins, the triumphs, the things that you've ultimately had throughout it. I've had a few of you guys message me over the last week here, and it was really, really, really cool. And I'm just like, man, get out there and freaking get it. Make the life you want to live a reality. Visualize it, take action on it, and it is sure to come. So I got sawdust all over myself here. Friggin' been working on the house nonstop. So we're going to get back to that. Got to go be dad. And I just appreciate you guys. Like I said, go through, share the show, leave a comment if you got questions on the YouTube side of things. Other than that, go be grateful and go get after it. Love y'all. We'll see you next week.